ConcreteGeniusMedia.com, man. I am always pleasure to be here and come through your airways, man. Concrete Genius Pod. Follow us on all socials. I'm welcomed by my guy, Bryan Crawford, man, established NBA sports writer. Mr. Twitter, let's get to it. B. Craw, how you living, fam?
What's cracking, man, on this good Saturday?
Beautiful Saturday, man. Beautiful weather outside. Shit is good. Shit is good. So I got to go. First impressions when you saw Bronny and Stephen A. What was your first initial thought reaction?
I thought it was funny at first. Cause I just felt like that Brian ain't nothing but he ain't nothing but an opportunist, right? Like we know he always know the cameras on him, and he took an opportunity to go and get in front of Stephen A. Because people always got you go to an NBA game, depending on who playing, man, somebody always got their phone out. So that was one of them moments that got captured. I'm kind of glad it did, and he got to say his piece or whatever. He got to say his piece in front of Stephen A. Smith. He kind of had his back against the wall a little bit because Stephen A. just signed that $100 million deal. What are you gonna do? That was probably like the best time to catch him. You know what I'm saying? To say what you got to say to him, because he's sitting right. He's sitting right next to the people that run his agency or own his agency. He's sitting there next to Larry David or whatever, and he courtside at the game, so it ain't really nothing that he could do. You know what I'm saying? I thought he probably could have handled it better than that. If he felt the way, he could have caught Stephen A. in the back and said what he had to say. But he did it right there in front of the cameras. That's just how he get down. So I thought it was funny, man. And then, as the story started to develop and, the facts or whatever started to come out, I thought that shit was lame as hell. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So what shape, what did you go from funny to lame? What did you see to shape that opinion?
I mean, first of all, I thought it was funny because he's standing over the man like he finna do something. We all know Brian ain't finna do shit.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I'm saying? That's first things first. But then, when Stephen A. started to, basically told the world what LeBron said to him, that's the part of it I thought was lame. You know what I'm saying? And when you see the reaction on social media, and everybody weighing it, giving their 2 cents because everybody got something to say about it. He made that shit about Bronny, and it wasn't really about Bronny, man. Like, it ain't never really been about Bronny. Not even with Bronny getting into the NBA. It's always been about him. You know what I'm saying? He cannot not make shit about him. Like, that's just what he do. So I thought it was lame. You telling a man who is a professional journalist, a professional sports writer who gets paid to talk about professional athletes, of which your son is, and then you want to tell him to keep your son name out his mouth? Like, what you talking about, dog? That's his job. He talks about NBA players. Your son is an NBA player. If Bronny was a football player and if he wasn't good, he would say something about that too. So, like, you can't have it both ways, man. Like, this nigga just want all the praise. And I get it. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it. He been criticized pretty much his whole career. But nigga, you 40 years old, man. Like, everybody don't like you. I was shocked the first time I heard somebody say that they didn't like Michael Jordan. I was blown away. You know what I'm saying? So, this nigga's out here that don't like Mike. So, what make you so different, man? So, that's the shit I thought was lame, bro, because Stephen A. said it. He was like, man, it ain't never been about your son. It's always been about you. So, anything I had to say was about you, not him. And that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? This all goes back to that Philadelphia game. That's basically where all of this stems from. And I'm still waiting on somebody to show me what Stephen A. said that was disrespectful about Bronny.
And what Philadelphia game you referring to?
When the Lakers came to Philly, that was the night that the trade officially went down, when Anthony Davis basically found out that he was getting traded.
Okay.
Why these niggas acting like they didn't know and they had no heads up? That's cap. That night, and Bronny played like in the first quarter. Like, he played like a lot of minutes that game, and he didn't do too much. You know what I'm saying? They was Tyrese Maxey and all them dudes. They was more or less hunting him, and it was like that next morning is when he got to talking about it. That's when he started reading off his stats, and I think that's what really pissed him off. When basically it was a bunch of fucking zeros across the board, and he felt the way about that. So then he said, he got calls and texts from Rich Paul. He might have got a call from Mav, but he just basically said it was somebody in LeBron camp, and they reached out to him. I thought that was lame too. And then he went on air and he spoke about it. So LeBron took that as his opportunity because he was at the game to confront the man himself.
So Rich Paul and Mav contacted Stephen A. after the criticism so Stephen A. criticized Bronny after the Philadelphia game when he played the minutes, when Davis sat out.
I mean, it wasn't even really criticizing Bronny. What set LeBron off is when he was like, please, I'm begging you as a father to stop this. That's what set him off. You know what I'm saying? Because he also said that that's the reason why Draymond basically act like he don't talk about him, or he don't fuck with him no more because of what he said. And nobody's ever criticized LeBron James as a father. And I didn't take that as really no criticism, you know what I'm saying, of his parenting skills. He was like, yo, this is your son. Don't put him out there before before he's ready. I don't think that's unreasonable at all. But he felt the way about it. And so that's what all of this stemmed from. That right there.
I agree. I can see your point on that. I just think that even getting now more, I think in the Stephen A. commentary, he did kind of go in about maybe getting the Lakers to draft him and him getting the opportunity more so because he's LeBron's son. And the way I heard it was more like Stephen A. was saying like you said, stop doing this to your son. But in my opinion, I feel like it was the night of the trade. It wasn't just no regular night. And then two, when you say stop doing it to your son, it kind of implies that you're forcing your son to do something. I don't know if Brian has ever forced Bronny to do something. I think they may have said, all right, this is what you want to do. You ain't ready, go to the G League. Because I think if they was forcing it, they would still be trying to force him to have NBA minutes.
I mean, they forced him into the NBA, bro. Like, they forced him into the NBA. Now, nobody can say, and I think that's probably the other thing too that's really like getting up under Bron's skin. But come on, man, like let's call a spade a spade. Your son is in the NBA playing for the team that you play for because you want him there. Ain't nobody making that up, bro. Like, ain't nobody making that up. Now,
I agree.
Whatever transpired or whatever happened for him to get them minutes or whatever, it don't matter, dog. The point of the matter is he's not ready. He looks better in the G League than he does on the NBA floor. That's just a fact. And from my perspective as a parent with daughters and sons, I would not want to put my kids in a situation where they could even be scrutinized by anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to this ain't no sink or swim situation. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that because you didn't come into the NBA as a killer. You know what I'm saying? You didn't even come out of high school as a killer. You wasn't a killer in college. You know, I know you had the health issue and everything like that. So you didn't come into the league like most people do, right? So when he says, in my translation, when I hear don't do this to your son, it's like, yo, you keep pushing him because you wanted to play with your son. So now, all right, cool, he's here. So he's a professional athlete. He's fair game to be critiqued. Like, that's just period, point blank. He's fair game to be critiqued. And that's what Stephen A. is saying. Like, yo, he is not ready for this. People going to tear this kid apart. Don't do him like that. And I think that's reasonable. I absolutely think that's reasonable. I don't think that's unreasonable at all.
I can see the logic in that. But I think as a dad, I see Stephen A.'s point as a journalist saying that. But I just think as a dad, you're going to consider the fact if I'm hurting my kid or not. You know what I mean? I think the implication on a national platform by probably our most powerful African-American journalist to imply that you being a bad father is somewhat tough. But I want to ask a question. Do you think, and I want your opinion on this because we cool enough to have this conversation, and I think it's very important. Is there a difference? Where is the difference between Bronny's situation and Nassas Antetokounmpo's situation, in your opinion?
Completely different. Nassas didn't come into the league with all this attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Nassas, if you go back and look at him before he came into the NBA, when he was playing overseas, Nassas was killing. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like no constant media attention. You know, wasn't nobody really checking for Nassas like that. The whole thing, like anything dealing with LeBron James is going to be a circus. That's just what it is, right? So I don't even think those two situations are comparable. Simply because of how they went down. Nassas didn't have cameras following him. He wasn't the focal point of Summer League. He wasn't the focal point of the draft. Nobody was talking about him. He didn't get a lot of media attention. You know, he wasn't constantly on SportsCenter or ESPN or First Take or anything like that. Nobody was talking about Nassas. So it's completely different to me. I don't think it's the same at all.
See, I that's where I disagree. And I see the differences, but I see the differences is that's just like if you wear an outfit and another cat wear an outfit, but you go to the club and all the girls are paying attention to you, y'all still kind of had the same thought process leaving out. So my only disagreement would be that I think that Nassas came over, Giannis was here, he's from another country, we saw the potential, I need my brother. I think that's the one that's kind of beneficial to it. But I also see the comparison of, hey, I need my brother on this roster. It's a lot of players that probably could take that roster spot. They spent the 51st pick on him. I think it was in he was 13, so I think his brother was 14. They spent the 51st pick. He's obviously on Nassas, yeah. I think, and he's obviously not an NBA player, but he hasn't even been asked to go prove himself in the G League. He was, even Jeff Teague said, I think he was brought back once, like when they was in the championship. Giannis plays better when his brother's around. But I just think that it's the same comparable thing, that I need this slot for this person and I've earned the right and I need this. So I think it is some similarities. People just don't have the...
Well, Giannis never said I wanted to play with my brother. Bron explicitly said I want to play with my son. Nassas was a pro. Like, he was a professional basketball player overseas. So he got a resume, he got backing, he got stats. Go look his numbers up. Nassas was decent. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he was no bum, he wasn't no scrub. Like, you're not going to send a professional basketball player to the G League like that. Yeah, he was there to keep tabs on his brother. His brother's coming from a different country. Now, you would have a better point if we was talking about Alex, the little one.
The younger one? Okay.
You'd have a much better point, because by that time, Giannis is already established, right? So if he wanted to pull a boss move like that, you're like, yo, bring my little brother over here. He can do that. So it's a little
you
different.
think the Nassas move was more for comfort as opposed to...
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Yo, mama...
Because they could have just moved the Nassas over here and put him in a crib, and he could have been around his brother 24/7. He didn't actively have to be on the team.
But he was a hooper. That's what I'm telling you. He was a pro. Like, even though he didn't get no minutes, even though he got spot minutes and he never really played, and he was basically kind of over there as a cheerleader and everything like that. Nassas is a professional basketball player. He has a resume. This is totally different than a kid like Bronny, who kind of got bumped into the McDonald's game. You know what I'm saying? Then he went to USC. Didn't have NBA caliber stats, but somehow ended up as the second pick of the draft. When people draw those similarities, I get it, because I feel like, to me, and I'm not saying this about you, but I feel like it's kind of trying to justify what it is that LeBron did, but this is totally different. And on top of that, the Nassas took a lot of heat too, man. Like, the Nassas used to get trashed on social media talking about he's a bum and all this other stuff, man. They used to go hard on the Nassas, bro. And Giannis ain't never said a word.
Nah, yeah, that's true. That's true. He did say, stop messing with my brother to somebody. I can't remember. Look at it. He did say, yeah, he told somebody, stop messing with my little brother. But I agree with you. But do you think, and I got a bigger question, but do you think the Nassas gets drafted if he's not Giannis' brother?
I don't know. But I think if he were to get drafted, he would have a more legitimate case than Bronny, for sure.
So, $100 Harold's Chicken voucher on the line.
Yeah.
Who's the better player right now, the Nassas or Bronny?
The Nassas Antetokounmpo, no question. Ain't no question about that. Nigga, I'm taking the Nassas 100 out of 100 times. You kidding me?
You dead ass on soul too. You for real?
Absolutely. Because I done seen the Nassas. The Nassas can hoop, Jack. For real. And I ain't saying... And look, I've been hard on Bronny. Trust me. Mm-hmm. I've been really hard on Bronny. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the Nassas, again, is a professional basketball player. You can look up his resume. Yes, I am taking the pro every single time.
Now, you text me some real shit off the record about Bronny, how much you respect his improvements. So I know you respect the strides he made. But my thing is, I've seen Bronny kill in the G League, control the game against niggas who hungry to embarrass him because he Bronny.
Yeah.
I don't think the Nassas could give me 20 and 10 in the G League.
What?
I don't think so. I'm not this nigga got like an 8-minute roll of like middle school bloopers. I would have to watch his game to be sure by the next time we jump on here. But I don't know if I don't think the Nassas could give me 30 against no G League team right now.
I've seen that blooper reel. He also got a reel of him killing too.
In the league? That one? Or I seen the overseas joint.
Yeah, overseas. Yeah.
I seen the overseas joint. Joint.
You know what it's all about? I mean, you know what? The NBA is a lot of things, dog. And, one thing is always going to be about his opportunity.
Right.
And if you get that opportunity to rock, you know what I'm saying? Your confidence go up. You get them reps and everything like that. It's a little bit, it's a little bit different. But like I said, I'm going to take the guy who is the proven basketball player, not the project.
Yeah, see,
Bronny is still a project.
He's a project. Now I agree with you about, like, I can respect people's takes when they not comfortable with what LeBron, what was forced, taking Bronny, the Lakers to take Bronny. Me personally, as a dad, I'm honestly glad to see it get to the point where the best player can have that leverage, because as someone that's a Jordan fan and a Bron fan, I respect how Mike had to pay the way, because I used to be incensed when Jerry Krause fat ass didn't want to pay Mike. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was pissed off when I used to know enough about sports to know Michael Jordan generating this much money, but Jerry Krause don't want to pay him because he feel like he make $40 million from endorsements. You know what I mean?
Right.
So to see the best player in the league get to the point where he can say, look, draft my son and the trophy is named after Jordan, I'm old enough to kind of appreciate that linear progress. You know what I mean? Right or wrong, how we feel about Bronny being in the league or if he deserves it. But to know like what Jordan even had to endure. Like I told somebody today, like Jordan had to always wear a suit. He couldn't be a nigga no time on camera. Right. You know what I mean? He had to be articulate because he had the pressure of globalizing the game. You know what I mean? Being the face of the game. So he couldn't even really criticize Krause. He could crack his jokes that came out on The Last Dance. But, you know, at that time, he couldn't even publicly be like, hey, I'm getting fucked. He used to have to come on TV and be like, hey, I'm a basketball player. I think I earned a better contract, but that's the way it is. So for him to get to that, to the point where our best player can say, you know what, draft my nigga, bro. He all right. I mean, he done had a heart attack. He done got this. Draft my nigga, and we gonna figure it out.
All right, let me shoot it to you like this. All right, so the most disingenuous part of the whole situation to me is when Brian be up there talking about that earn not giving shit. You can't say that in relation to Bronny James, right? You can't do that. Michael Jordan was the part owner of the Washington Wizards, right? If he wanted to, he could have got both his sons in the NBA on his team. He didn't do it because, quite frankly, they wasn't good enough. Jeff was all right. Marcus was a little better, but they wasn't pros. But if he wanted to pull that card and if he wanted to, you know what I'm saying, exercise that leverage, he could have, but he didn't. Now, this is a player, not a part owner, none of that. This is a dude who still signed the back of his checks like everybody else on the team. You know what I'm saying? So I get like where that shit kind of looked cool. But Brian, like real talk, he ain't really running shit, man. Like if they wanted to void his contract and get rid of him today, they could. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that to a guy who got a minority stake in the team or a partial majority stake in the team. You can't do that. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit.
See, I see what you're saying, but I think I know it sounds a little crazy, but I think probably Bron got more leverage as a player in 2025 than Jordan had as a minority owner. I don't think they would have let Jordan do that if he wanted to, especially not Abe Poland. I don't think that was feasible. I think back then it was more like, hey, it's either take it or leave it. The tone of the tenor of America was different. So I think that's where a lot of it comes from with people from LeBron is the nerve of you, nigga. Like sometimes that nerve, you got to appreciate me. All right, the nerve of me. This is my son. This is his dream. He just had a heart attack. I'm going to get him picked, and we going to play on the court together. We going to take these pictures, and we going to make these memories. And if you factor in what he's brought to the game, whether people like him or hate him, and this is what bothers me about people saying the NBA is in trouble, is because nothing drives engagement, and probably no player has been profited off of more in basketball than LeBron. When you factor in social media, the engagement, probably the money people make, the engagement that his name brings in the discussion, wherever he goes, it's just a part of me that feel like he's earned that right. Like, this game has been good to me, but a lot of people have eaten off whatever I'm endured through this game too, right? Like, you've never been a guy that tweeted for clicks, right? When we first started talking, hey, I don't like him because of this. It was always basketball related. That's why I respect your point of view, because we speak from the position of what he's doing from somebody who watched the game of basketball and studied it and knows it. But it's also a lot of people that make a lot of money to wake up and bash things about him that ain't true. Like somebody like you would never say LeBron got a low IQ. You just know basketball. You know what I mean? But it's also a segment of people in America that can make money by waking up and saying, his IQ, he this, he's selfish, he can't pass, he can't do that. So I think he's earned that right to say, you know what, this may not be right. My son was on track to be a little better. He suffered a heart attack. Me and my wife ain't doing this. And I'm gonna take advantage of this opportunity. The same way I felt when Jack Elway told the Baltimore Colts, don't draft my son. That's power. I got to exercise the power. Archie Manning said, look, we not going to San Diego Chargers, bro. I don't give a fuck what you do, who you call. We not going to San Diego Chargers. And that's just as egregious, but it's just leverage, and people not used to a black man having that leverage. So that's why the precedent has been set before, in my opinion. So I just feel like people are so shocked to see him do it and have that power.
I mean, but I think you just made my original point was everything is about him. It's all about LeBron. I don't think this is about Bronny at all. I don't think it was ever about him, to be honest with you. I don't think it's about Bronny at all, dog. I don't. Because if it was about Bronny, you would let him make his own way. You would let him make his own way. And you would let him sink and swim his own way. If it was about Bronny, why you got to come play with you?
Because I've earned the right to say I want him next to me every day. Now, I will say this. If Bronny had went to the G League and was averaging 1.5 points a game and they was giving him the minutes and it was bad, I would lean more towards what you're saying. But what started making me see it was like, okay, even after all this, Shorty in the G League, you watch him in the G League, he enthusiastic, he happy, he smiling playing the game. That don't look as a kid who's not enjoying it too. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay,
What I'm saying is this is not about Bronny. Now, Bronny is going to, and as we've seen in the G League, he's thriving. Like, you can tell, like, he is not as bad as people, like, want to make him be. The weird thing is that, he can kill on the G League court, but then he gets to the big stage and it's like night and day. So that part of it is a little bit odd. But he can play basketball. So I don't think he's a great player. I don't think he's an all-star. I don't think he's elite in any way. But, I mean, he can play. So, I mean, that's saying something. I'm not saying that, like, he's squeezing in some kid who just don't have no business out there on the court. Like, that's not the case with Bronny at all. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that, like, if you really wanted it that way, then let him make his own way. Or if you're going to get him into the NBA the way that you did, then you got to have a little bit thicker skin because they're going to come after him because they come after you.
I agree with that.
You know what
I'm saying? I also think for somebody, as much as I respect Brian, I'm also honest enough to admit that the tweet was a mistake. If he had never tweeted that he was better than a lot of players, I think maybe 30-40% of the hate wouldn't be there. But you can't make the proclamation, get him on the team, and then he's struggling on the NBA court. Like, if you would have just stood silent. Now, devil's advocate, the tweet was made before the heart attack, notwithstanding. So the recovery is amazing, but the tweet's still out there. So guys are going to say, damn, bro, you did this, you did this, you did that. And this nigga's obviously not ready, so that gives ammo to the people who don't like what's going on.
And then you put a lot of undue pressure on the kid.
Way too much.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you putting a lot of pressure on it because now the expectation is, like you said, well, shit, if he better than everybody else, let me see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then when that don't materialize, then people talk about it, then you want to get in your feelings because what he do? When he was at USC, after he tweeted that, when he tweeted that while Bronny was still playing at USC. And then after he tweeted it a couple weeks later, you remember he was in the mock draft. He was at a certain level. Then he dropped a little bit. Then he fell completely off. And then LeBron was like, oh, just let the kid be a kid. And then he turned around and say he going to go radio silence. No, dog, you can't do that. You can't do that. So that's what I'm saying. This goes back to the Stephen A. Smith part. You set all these wheels in motion, right? You gave people a reason to look for any little thing to say about him. And then when they do, now you want to get in your feelings about it? That don't really add up, bro. That don't add up. So, like I said, and like Stephen A. Smith said, he was like, everything that I said was not about Bronny, it was about you. And that part of it, I truly agree with. Like, this is all, like, nobody is talking about the kid. No, everybody wants Bronny to succeed. Everybody wants Bronny to play well. Everybody wants to see him play well. Nobody has said that they didn't. No, I have not seen to this day anybody say that they wish he failed. So you can't, like, he can't take that angle. But it's like the way all of this shit came together, bro, people gonna have something to say about it. That's just a fact. And everything that they have to say is not gonna be good. So you gotta deal with that because you set this all up. You did this. Nobody did this except you, bro. So the big problem I always had with LeBron is like he ain't never been accountable for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like when Kobe Bryant, for example, anytime they lost the game or when they lost the finals, particularly when they lost the finals against Boston, He said, you know what? I got to be better. You know, I got to step up. I got to do this. I got to do that. Michael Jordan, the same way. All of the greats have come up and were like, you know what? I'm the man. This is my team. We fail. It's on me. I could be wrong, but I've never seen LeBron take that position.
I think he did after 11.
What he said after 11?
I think after they lost to Dallas, I think he did. I think he took that position after they lost to the Dallas Mavericks. I think he took that position, was it game 6?
Mm-hmm.
The year that he had with Miami when he went crazy, game 7 in Boston. I think he took that position like it's on me to win the game. I got to go out here and be aggressive. I think he had like 45, 12 and something.
Was that after he had 17?
No, I think that was the year before. I think they got to game 6. The year they finally broke through. After
When
that,
they beat Oklahoma City?
yes, that season, yeah. When they beat Boston in the ECF, yeah. I think he came through. And I say this with all due respect, but I would be disingenuous if I didn't. I respect the leadership. I respect it. But we've also had times where, like, I've seen Kobe not be responsible to the media, expressive to the media after the Phoenix series? When they was 3-1, he was, hey, no questions. And I respected that because it was turmoil with his coach, with his roster, with the front office. I didn't look at that as a knock on Kobe. I just looked at it as a human being not wanting to talk. But it still falls in the, hey, this on me and not being accountable slot. It's just, hey, he was frustrated. So I think we got to give LeBron that same pass to say, hey, man, I want to win. Some guys don't react to losing professionally all the time. Like we seen it happen with Zeke when they lost to the Bulls. I think it's got to be some grace for the guys we love when they don't react appropriately after a loss that they should have won. You know what I mean? Like we can't say, man, LeBron he wasn't accountable. He didn't say it's on me. When we've seen situations where Isaiah didn't want to say nothing, he didn't want to talk. I've seen situations where even Bird, Magic didn't want to talk. You know what I mean? Magic shut it down before. So I think it has happened all to the greats. I just think that media is so explosive 24/7 with tickers and ESPN everywhere, ESPN News and podcasts. I think LeBron shit just gets overblown.
I mean, I ain't got no problem with niggas not want to talk. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? My thing is like, yo, man, own it. Own it, bro. Like, own it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That earn not giving shit, don't give me that, bro. Because we know that's not the case. So, own it, man. Anything that you do, own it. Don't act like other people is doing something to you. Ain't no victims in this shit, dog.
Yeah.
Stop that, man. And,
yeah.
You know, all his fans and his supporters want to act like he a victim and niggas picking on him. Man, this nigga's 40 years old, man. This is a grown ass man. This is not a child, bro.
Now look, I do agree. I agree with. I will give you this, bro. I agree with some of the shit that, like, it's some shit that he shouldn't hit send on because you LeBron. People got access to you, and they gonna take the things you say a certain way. So that I'm real enough to agree with. It's just my biggest problem, and I think why people don't understand. Be like LeBron or Jordan. I'm like both of them. I was blessed to see old enough to see Mike, North Carolina, and to see Brian. So I'm privileged enough, and even see the back end of Dr. J. So I just appreciate that excellence of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But I also go ahead, fam.
No, what I was gonna say was, dog, I think we getting to a point where there's fatigue starting to set in.
I agree.
I think LeBron is getting tired of the constant scrutiny and the jabs and the darts and everything like that being thrown his way. Yeah. And I also think niggas really getting tired of LeBron, like straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? Like now you got people talking about, from Stephen A. Smith. I seen Paul Pierce said it. And I agree. It's like, yo, like we don't even need to have this GOAT debate no more. It's stupid. It's jumped the shark. It's gotten way overboard.
Exactly.
And I have actually created a solution for me. I don't give a fuck about nobody else, but for me, I have made peace with this, right? And I put it to you like this. All right. So you got the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. You can't touch that. Like nobody can touch that. Like leave that alone. That's over there, right? But LeBron has created his own lane because for me, I will say, and I have no problem saying this, LeBron probably is the player with the greatest career of all time. And it ain't no knock, dog. Like, you're not going to get to 6-0 because I don't think people really understand this, right? So when Mike came in, he played against Kareem. All right, when Kareem wrapped up his career, Kareem had 6 championships. Mike never said this, but that's what he was chasing. He was trying to get to the 6. He got to the 6, and he did it better because he got to the 6 and he didn't lose, right? Kobe comes in. Kobe chasing Mike. He trying to get to the 6 too, right? He gets 5. He loses 2, right? Let's go to the next in the third pantheon of that, Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is chasing Kobe because he said it. He was like, yo, he sat there and he watched Kobe win that 5th championship. He turned the TV off. He called Bryan. Like, shit, what we gonna do? He said, because I got 1. You ain't got none. Shaq got 4. Let's get these rings, right? So D-Wade is chasing Kobe. LeBron has been chasing Mike the entire time, right? Whether it's of his own doing or the position that the media put him in or the circumstances or whatever, he's been chasing it. They call it chasing the ghost. All right, cool. He can't reach that. So now it turns into the longevity thing. Now everybody said he's playing, we never seen anybody this good for this longevity, whatever. Cool. Y'all can have that. Greatest career ever, bar none, without question. He owns that. Cool. You want to put Mike up there? You want to put LeBron up there? Cool. Fair exchange, no robbery. We ain't slight nobody. Ain't nobody getting slighted. You know what I'm saying? LeBron at the top of his hill, Mike at the top of his hill. They both at the top. What's the problem? Because we don't put him over Jordan, well, that becomes some personal shit that I can't rock with. But I'm comfortable saying LeBron has had the greatest career of anybody I've ever seen. And I give him that. And that's cool. Why can't you leave it at that? This ghost shit is stupid. Because no matter if I have to spend 15, 20 years to convince you that somebody is better than somebody else and that shit still ain't sticking, it's probably never going to stick, dog. So let it go, man. Let it go. Let the ghost shit go. It's not going to happen for him. He can carve out his own lane and run his numbers up. Cool, go ahead.
That's a great point. I agree. I agree, especially about the career part. And I saw Mike in real time, so I understand. But I also like the finals losses. Like what Magic got 3, right? How many Kobe got?
4.
2. Magic got 4.
Yeah, he went to 9 finals. He won 5 rings.
So he 5 and 4.
Kobe went to 7 finals. Kobe went to 7 finals. He won 5 rings.
And 5 and 2.
Tim Duncan went to 6 finals. He's 5 and 1.
So is it the wing position? Is it the popularity of the player that makes us exclude, like, because Tim Duncan's record was phenomenal. You know what I mean? He caused a lot of people problems, but he's not even in a lot of people's top 5, which I feel like is unfair.
No, he's not in a lot of people's top 5, but he's still called the greatest power forward in the game.
Great, yeah. I agree with that. So how big is the gap in your experience as a journalist, well, your personal opinion, between, okay, Jordan's the standard 6-0, right? The modern standard. Do you view other players' careers that haven't won, and forgive me if I asked this before, but like, do you view the Malones and the Barkleys differently? Like, how far is that gap?
Between them and who?
Yeah, between them. Okay, so you got champions and non-champions. So the Barkleys and the Malones, the gap between, even though Barkley was one of the greatest power forwards in my opinion, especially in my childhood, does that take away from his greatness not being a champion, in the same room as Michael Jordan?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. No.
Okay.
I mean, because like I said, last time we talked, everybody can't win.
Yeah.
Like, we judge people based on the rings that they win if they got them, right? And for some reason, we tend to not talk about guys who didn't win any rings at all, which I think that's weird. But whatever, like, I understand it. You know what I'm saying? If we judge about the championship, the championship standard now, we're not going to talk about those guys. We're going to talk about the guys who won. Yeah. But in the modern era, and let me touch on this Bill Russell point, right? Because I keep seeing this shit and it's so fucking stupid. Let me tell you niggas, let me look in this camera. When y'all having this GOAT conversation, when y'all bring up Bill Russell's 11 rings, I just want you stupid niggas to know. Bill Russell won 11 rings in a league with 8 teams. Knock it the fuck off, man.
How many teams they had, bro? They had
8, bro. Imagine if you put the 72 and 10 Bulls in a league with 8 teams.
18.
Who gonna beat them?
Yeah.
So please don't bring up Bill Russell's rings no more, man. That shit is stupid. That nigga beat Wilt. He beat Jerry West. They got the documentary on HBO right now if y'all want to watch it about the Celtics, and you see all them jerseys that's hanging in the rafters was on them teams.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't nobody
yeah.
finna beat them, dog, not even Wilt. So knock it off, man. I don't want to hear about that.
And then
11.
they had like probably 5 of the best players in the 8-team league.
Bro, what you talk? You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear that 11, man. Y'all really need to do y'all homework for y'all be talking about them 11 rings, man. Let's not even do that. That's something else. Leave that alone.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Let them old niggas argue about that.
I posted our video on TikTok. One TikTokers asked, do you think that the 90s or the league was affected by the expansion era in the 90s? Your personal opinion, not mine.
It's another weak argument. Expansion. Yeah. Like what we talking about?
Yeah.
You know what invalidates the expansion era? The tanking era. Niggas losing on purpose, dog.
Yeah.
Like what the whole goal is to lose. Trust the process? That's stupid. Y'all losing to try to get a better draft position? That's stupid. That's not the goal of the game. The goal of the game is to compete. Go out there and win. You know what I'm saying? If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. But who goes into playing a sport to lose on purpose? That's what derailed Joel Embiid's entire career. He came into an unserious organization and an unserious franchise, and he never took anything seriously. And now look where we at.
Yeah.
Like, no, expansion is a super weak argument, man. Because like I said, I've seen teams tank, bro. The Sixers, how many years in a row did they lose on purpose? You know what I'm saying? And then
it's a clusterfuck.
we seen a bunch of bad basketball teams. So no, man, because it's not like you taking niggas off the street. You still taking NBA players in the expansion draft. You know what I'm saying? These guys are still pros.
Yeah.
So it's not like you taking, you know what I'm saying? You're not like, come on, man, that's stupid. No, these are just, all of these arguments are dumb because this all goes back to this attempt to try to diminish Jordan and demystify
Jordan in the 90s. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's all it is, dog. That's all it is. And you are very disrespectful to the game. Like, I'm just going to say this flat out. You are not a fan of basketball at all if you try to sit there and dismiss Michael Jordan. Because all you niggas out there that be trying to talk bad about Mike, y'all got mics in y'all motherfucking closet, nigga. Y'all done wore Jordans on y'all feet. If y'all really feel like that, burn them shits and get rid of them, man.
So, you know...
But they all do. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's the dumbest shit in the world. Y'all hating on the man while y'all wear his shoes. You know who ain't never owned or wore a pair of LeBrons? Me, nigga.
You ain't never had a pair of bronze?
No, I'm not putting them shits on my feet. You crazy?
Hey, listen, I got to, that shit. And I agree with you. Like, my argument to that is I watch 90s basketball intensely. Even without the expansion draft, the Bulls was going to win. So I didn't, that shit didn't.
All them arguments, man, arguments is to try to take Mike down a peg, man. And it's like, the whole smear campaign, it's just nonstop. This, that.
Yeah.
He couldn't shoot. He couldn't do it. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Yeah. Y'all trying to knock down one of the greatest of all time for what?
Yeah.
To lift up one dude? Y'all not fans of basketball for real. I can't even take y'all serious.
What was your thoughts on Whitlock? And I saw you mention that Whitlock actually calling out Skip Bayless and ESPN Stephen A. Smith culture for even putting that on LeBron, because I do think before the comparison, it just used to be a lot of next talk. You know what I mean? It wasn't more so. And I think the First Take era really intensified that. I feel like Skip Bayless kind of like, he basically was like the first nigga to cook crack. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this shit here, they smoking this shit, they coming back to back. I'm finna mass produce this shit, nigga. And I think now it's just pervasive everywhere, and it took away our appreciation for just watching real basketball, because the people that probably could have appreciated LeBron started getting tired of the Michael Jordan disrespect. You see what I'm saying? So
and that's
this
what it
was a planted seed. Yeah.
That's what it was. Because, see, a lot of people don't like Skip. I ain't got no problem with Skip. The reason why I ain't got no problem with Skip because I know where Skip come from. Covered the Bulls. Like, he was in Chicago. I used to read Skip Bayless, right? So, like, he is invested in that. To the Whitlock point, I think Whitlock was on the right track. He was on the wrong train. What he said was LeBron doesn't like the way ESPN covers him. But he said it in the context of talking about Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. What LeBron don't like is the way Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless cover him. Because all the on-air talent on ESPN don't do nothing but give Bryan props and praise. And that's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? It's the Jordan era guys that people have a problem with because they feel that they're not giving LeBron even an opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. But he's had his opportunity. Again, if the standard is Michael Jordan, right, and the standard is championships, 6-0, well, you're 4-6. Why are we having this conversation? You can't get that, fam. Like, you went to more, the person in most recent memory that went to as many finals as you, at least, we just talked about him, Magic Johnson, right? Magic Johnson was still 5-4. You've been to 10. You're 4-6. So how do we put you in the same conversation with a guy who never lost? Not only did he never lose, he had two three-peats. He had a three-peat, took 18 months off, came back and did another one. Why do you even belong in that conversation? I've never understood that. Like, how do we even get here to where we feel like a guy who, with that particular record, and I'm not talking about like his individual abilities, because he like his skill set for his size and everything like that is amazing. But it's a lot of things he still can't do. I ain't never seen Bron do a 1 dribble or 2 dribble pull up. I ain't never seen that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I ain't never seen him. Michael Jordan is one of the greatest low post basketball players of all time. LeBron James is 6'8", 260. He is allergic to the block. You know what I'm saying? Not no more. Is he?
Nah, not no more.
I don't see him go down there, fam. Not too much.
My counter to that would be, to me, I think Jordan's the greatest killer, period. Mm-hmm. Coming back from the broke foot, 63 against Boston, little kid watching that, just the killer instinct. But I also think
skill set is elite.
The skill set was phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Elite.
And as a basketball player, as a basketball person, you can't tell me that LeBron James' skill and Michael Jordan's skill are equal. You can't tell me that.
I think Michael Jordan's a better scorer, but I think it's other categories. See, I think Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were the perfect marriage. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think Scottie Pippen was this dynamic young freak of nature player that had point guard ability, defensive player, and I think playing with Michael Jordan allowed him to get the confidence to become the player that he was. But I also think Scottie Pippen's skill set fit perfectly for the things that Michael Jordan was great at. Now, I'm not saying Michael Jordan wasn't a phenomenal passer, because it's a stretch in 1990 where he played point guard. I think he had 4 or 5 triple doubles in a row. So he could have went the Westbrook route. But I think Scottie Pippen allowed Michael Jordan to focus on dominating defensively, scoring, and closing, because you knew Scottie was going to handle assists. You knew Scottie was going to handle rebounds. You knew Scottie basically could lead them in other statistical categories. I don't think LeBron ever had a team that he didn't lead in scoring points, rebounding, you know what I mean, and assists. So I think he had to put on more hats. I think Jordan is a greater closer, a greater scorer, more skilled, but I think LeBron cerebrally could take a bad team farther than Jordan. I think Jordan can close the deal better than LeBron, but I think it was a stretch in the 2010s. You could have put LeBron on any team in the NBA, and I think he could have got him to the conference finals. So I think we arguing two different. I think LeBron's more like Magic and Scottie, and I think Jordan is in his own lane. So I think the whole comparison wasn't fair in the first place. Yeah.
So it's never been fair in the first place, because they're just two completely different players.
I agree.
They're completely different players. Like, it's not even the same. Like, you know, even the whole killer shit, like, that just completely like separates everything. You know what I'm saying? The only person we seen close to that was Kobe. And I don't know if we'll ever see anything like that again. Like, these niggas was like psychos, bro. Like, they was straight up sociopaths when it came to that, bro. So it's like, it's a little bit different, man. But I think Bron deserves the props that he does get, but I just don't like the continued bashing of Michael Jordan, because it's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary.
To lift up one dude. Like, that's unnecessary, and it's unfair, and it's disingenuous, man. So, and I think that's why I said a minute ago, I think there's fatigue starting to set in. And I think this situation with Stephen A. Smith, like, yeah, you know, LeBron got people that, you know, that thought that shit was raw as hell, and they thought it was cool. But there was a lot of people who didn't, dog. Like, it's a lot of professional athletes who didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people in journalism who didn't like that. And I don't think, you know, that grace and everything that you was talking about, I don't think that's going to be around much longer. And I don't know if LeBron really want to stick around for that. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't really, people been taking shots at you, you know, left and right here and there, but like, that shit starts. It's going to start to get louder and louder and louder, and I don't want to see him go through that. Yeah, because then he gonna get all defensive, and then it's gonna be a mess, man. So like, how much longer do you really want to stick around to even have to endure this? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea.
Point. No, that's a great point. G. That's a great point. That's a brilliant point. Now I want to ask you this because, like I said, one of the main reasons I love having this conversation with you is because whatever you don't like about LeBron, you can basically pinpoint. It's never been personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I appreciate, that's where your journalism, your knowledge, and your love of the game comes in. So, but do you understand or admit that it's also maybe a large percentage of people that hate LeBron because of the power and the moves he's had and made and the control he's had? As far as like Rich Paul, Hutch, I think it's a whole bunch of people that like LeBron for reasons that dislike him other than basketball because of clutch, because of his power, the way he yields his power. I think that makes a large section of America uncomfortable.
I don't think those people are black.
I think it's a few. I think it's a few. So? Yeah, because it's even some of us that's uncomfortable with us being in control.
I ain't got no problem with that. I ain't never had no problem with that. I always want niggas get y'all money.
Get your money.
And I don't like the way the way y'all move.
Yeah.
Y'all do a lot of goofy shit.
Yeah.
And when y'all do it, I call it out, but I ain't got no problem with that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And I don't think most people do. Just me. Like, I personally don't think us. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think we're in a very small minority on that. I'll say that.
Now I wanna get to this. I know I appreciate that. Before I let you get out of here, I wanna ask you 30-20-20 Jokic is this does he have a chance to take the MVP from SGA, or is it kind of lock already?
Man, I watched that game last night. That was crazy.
Yeah.
No.
Nah.
You want to take it from SGA, bro, based off of that?
Yeah. No, I don't see it either. And fatigue too, voter fatigue. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's a phenomenal thing, man. Like, well, how many Joker got now? 3?
I think maybe either 2 or 3.
He got like 3. I mean, it might be
one
fatigue. Embiid got 1. Giannis got 2.
Yeah.
I think the last 5 or 6 MVPs have not been American players, if I'm not mistaken.
This nigga got 3.
Joker got 3?
2021, 21-22, and 23-24.
He got 3. Okay.
Jesus.
No, I think this is shave. I think he earned it. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Crazy stat line, no doubt, but I don't think that's going to propel him. That's going to invalidate everything Shea has done up to this point in the season. And he got like a 12-game lead in the West.
Yeah. Do you feel Jokic MVPs have been deserved, all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So no knock on he don't play D, none of that?
I don't have a problem with Jokic, man. Like, mostly because I don't really care. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's a big man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I don't put no emotion in that. Like, when Embiid won, I didn't really care.
Yeah.
When, you know what I'm saying? When Giannis won, I don't really care. Like, because I don't really get into that. You know what I'm saying?
Awards.
Because shit, it's a fucking crime that Kobe only got 1. It's a crime that Shaq only got 1. Real crime that Steve Nash got 2 back to back.
Yeah.
So I don't put too much like that.
And I hate that because they don't let the people who really matter vote, and that shit defines legacies. Because Kobe should easily have 3 at least. You know what I'm saying? Well,
the problem is the people who vote are people like myself. They sports writers, and if y'all think that these people are not like y'all, if y'all think that these people are not fans like y'all in a sense, even though they got a professional job to do and cover the sport, man, they not no different, man. They can get swayed by narratives just like everybody else.
Yeah. Nah, man, this is dope, man. Good shit. We gotta I gotta get on here. These Lakers are rolling, man. Luka Bron rolling. We gotta get on that. I know that Stephen A was emergency red button.
But yeah, man, let's kill this GOAT debate, bro.
I agree. I just think it's time.
It's 20 years of the same shit, and ain't nobody budging.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody giving up no ground, man. Like, if you think LeBron is the GOAT, cool. The beauty of this life is you entitled to believe and think whatever you want to think.
Yeah.
But again, if y'all been pushing 15, 20 years to try to move this needle, and like I said, every time LeBron, when he scored a combined 50,000, is he better than Jordan yet? If he goes on to win the championship, is he better than Jordan yet? Come on, man. If it took you 22 years to win your 5th championship, how is that even a conversation? Like, that's a milestone. It's great that he would do that again. That goes into a player who has had the greatest career ever.
Yeah.
But that greatest player ever, can't touch that.
And I look at
That's
it
out
as
of reach.
it's all right. And I agree, let's let it go. And I agree also for similar reasons. I just feel like we get tricked as black people to not appreciate our legends because people use comparison to steal our joy. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's Biggie Pac. I don't care if it's MJ Brian. I don't care if it's Michael Jackson Prince. I don't care if it's fucking anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't care whatever it is. When we get two greats, people need to see them go. I guess I always like throwing niggas in the ring and putting a blindfold on and let them kill each other because now we got to side with one instead of just enjoying. Hey, they both great, man. Let's enjoy this shit in real time. You know what I'm saying?
I hated the Fab Five when I was younger. I hated the Detroit Pistons when I was younger. As I got older, I love all them guys. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care that Zeke was from Chicago. Nigga, you played for the Pistons. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should beat up on my Bulls. I ain't like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, as I got older, you know, I appreciated them dudes for what they did. I love Chris Webber. I love Jalen Rose. And who knows, man? 5 years after he retired, shit, I might feel a little bit differently about LeBron.
Yeah.
People grow, man. And, you know, and out of sight, out of mind causes you to have a greater appreciation than when you just constantly having this shit shoved in your face and you, quite frankly, you tired of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gets old.
Yeah, it get real old. It get real old. I'm always, and see, I'm old enough to remember when you was black. You damn near had, especially college, you had to just, you know, you had to go from Georgetown to UNLV to the Fab Five. You had to slow walk that shit, get you a year at Georgia Tech. So like it wasn't a lot of blackness to be proud of. So I'm not really, I'm so anti-divisive, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm just burnt out on the shit. Like, Jesus Christ, man, could we just watch a game without a think piece from either side? Like, I'm tired of niggas going to get video from the 90s to discredit Jordan. I'm tired of niggas talking about simple shit about LeBron. If we could just analyze what they doing right here, right now.
Yeah. So I am officially out of that shit. I am tired from that goofy ass shit. I'm done talking about it because there's nothing that can be done or said that is going to take me off of the Michael Jordan's GOAT train. I don't care. Y'all can argue about that shit amongst yourselves. It's not changing, bro. And I don't feel like I'm the only one who is like this. I'm not in the minority on this. Let's just kill it. However many years the boy got left, enjoy it. Brian, run your numbers up, nigga, because you putting up stats that you probably gonna sit at the top of the record books forever. Yeah. And that is your legacy right there. You are the greatest statistical player we have ever seen, my nigga. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Nothing but respect, my nigga. But that GOAT shit, that's over. It's done. Somebody can fuck around and get killed behind this shit, man.
That shit real. That shit real. Hey, man, ConcreteGeniusMedia.com, man. You listening to the best shit. Now, last question, I got to get out of here. Can the Lakers win the West?
Nope.
No possibilities.
Shit, Luka gonna start playing defense?
Yeah.
Look, you damn near got to put him on your center to hide him on defense, dog.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the playoffs, you got to guard. Gotta play defense, dog. You gotta play defense. Just don't know. Between that and always arguing with the refs and he won't get back up the floor. I was watching last night. I was talking to my man. We sitting up here. We watching Jokic and them play when they play Phoenix. Man, Nikola Jokic get fouled every single time down the floor, dog. He get fouled so hard you can hear it on the TV. You don't argue with the refs. You don't cry about it. He gets smacked around. He gets scratched all up. He run back down the floor. That's not what Luka Doncic does, man. And I don't like that. I think he the biggest crybaby I ever seen. I mean, unless it's gonna be some dramatic shift in the way that boy carry himself, I don't know, man. Yeah. I think people miss the point of it's very easy when you gotta play this team one night and that team one night, and this team might be coming off of back to back, and this team might have played 4 games in 5 nights. Yeah. Versus you gotta beat somebody 4 out of 7, and this constant adjustments being made. Yeah. That's a little different, bro. Yeah. So I'll reserve judgment until I see the playoffs. But right now, I don't think they can win the West. And get past, that's going to be a tall order, especially when you ain't got no size down there. Jackson Hayes is not the answer, my nigga, and neither is Jared Vanderbilt. Yeah, but them niggas some dogs, though. Finney Smith, Ando, them niggas is some dogs. It's gonna be dicey. Denver's still Denver. Like Jokic is a tough answer. I do think Redick is a good coach, but I just don't know.
that usage rate going against Denver, it's gonna be tough. Now,
With
what
Dallas,
I do,
now with Dallas not in the mix, not right now, that kind of changes it. That
yeah,
changes things a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't know.
yeah. Well, I appreciate you, G, man. As always, man, we're gonna get this up, get it rolling. I look to tap in with you by like Wednesday, man, so we can get back to it, see what's happening, and really talk about some current NBA. Now we kind of put this to bed a little bit.
Yeah, man. I look forward to all the. Who is this nigga?
Right.
Why we care what he said?
Hey, do you as a journalist, right? It's probably last question. As a journalist, have you ever gotten a story that even if it's a legitimate story and you like, I can't run with that, that's my guy. Or let me call my guy and let him know what's out there. Have you ever, or do you just do it and deal with maybe the backlash?
No, I don't do that.
Okay.
Because I appreciate the respect that I get from the players.
Mm-hmm.
That means more to me than anything. Like, I don't care nothing about the readers. I don't care nothing about people on social media. If I go to a game and I bump into a nigga, I want it to be all love. You know what I'm saying? If I'm out in Vegas or somewhere, I see somebody, I want it to be all love. I don't want nobody to ever feel like I snaked it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't that type of journalist.
Yeah.
And if it was something that I might have had information on, I wouldn't tell nobody that I had information. I just would sit on it and whatever. I don't care if somebody else decide to run with it. I'm not that breaking news guy. Like I don't want to be the one that break no news. You know what I'm saying? The one time I got in trouble with that. It's a funny story actually. This is when DeMar DeRozan, he was super early. He was super young in the league, and they had one of them to get in the dunk contest, and he had came to Chicago. Toronto had came to Chicago. And he was talking to us after the game or whatever. And he had basically announced that him and Blake Griffin was going to be in the dunk contest, and nobody knew about it. And I went and I ran with it. Nigga, Raptors PR had a motherfucking fit, man. They called Slam, and Slam called me, and it was just this whole big ass thing. And I was like, you know what? Never again, man. I don't want to be that dude. I don't want to break nothing.
Was he really in it? He was in it though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in it. He wasn't lying. And I wasn't lying either. Yeah. But it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't officially announced. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I was like, man, listen, I got a lot of shit that break I be knowing.
Yeah.
I just don't say nothing, man, because that ain't my thing, bro. Like I don't want to be the face of that. I really don't even want niggas to know me. That's why, you know what I'm saying? That's why I make my money in the background. Quiet as you know what I'm saying? That's why all the money is made anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I'm that dude. I don't want to be out front like that.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to be funny.
And you IG niggas, man, stop down my nigga resume, man. You gonna have to crack you upside the head, man. We can't even really tell y'all what it is.
My resume is not up for debate, bro. Not at all. I'm him for real.
Yeah. Right. Real shit, man. Real shit. I appreciate you, G. ConcreteGismedia.com, man. Get a copy of my book, The Game Changer. We back at it in a minute. Peace.
Yes, sir.